Now that we've finished with the HSL grayscale, I want to go over to the split toning tab. Now, the split toning tab allows us to work in our highlights and separately in our shadows, and then use the balance slider to determine where we're going to have the majority of our effect happening. What we need to do, or what you can do, and a lot of people do this, but it's up to you, is we can play around with the hues in our highlights. So let's say I'm going to put, as an example, this value here into the highlights. Now you're not going to see any difference right now because I haven't changed the saturation. But if I come over here and set the saturation, and if I set it to, as an example, 30, I'm going to turn this on and off. And you can see the yellow's been applied, and it's going in the highlights. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab a blue of some nature. Is that a blue? Oh, well, we'll see. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to give this up to 60. And then maybe I'll increase this to 60. And now, and I'm going to put this one at 240. All right, now we're starting to, I'm not saying it's right or wrong or whatever it is, but we're kind of coming into that cross-process look that everybody really likes these days. If I want this effect to be more prominent in the highlights, then I just drag this up this way, and you can see how the yellow is being more prominent up there. If I want it to be more prominent down in here in the blues, then I can set it up so it's more prominent in the blues. Not 100% sure which way I want to go with this, but I just thought I would show you how this works. I'm going to leave it right in the center there, just so you can see how this goes. Now, a lot of times you're going to be sitting there saying, what the hell would you want to have that for? Well, not necessarily so much for working with color images, but if I was to come back over to here and take the saturation slider and move it all the way over to 0 to take that out, then if I came back into here, now you can start to see how this can work. If I come over here and do this, we're going to have more of the blues affecting the shadowy areas, and I'm going to have less of the yellows going on there. Or I can go this way and change it so I'm going to get more of the yellow stuff happening in the highlights and less in there. And in that case, what I can do is I can increase the saturation a little bit. Not that I want to go too much. I think I'll just put it back to that, and then see if I can play with this to get a meaningful image. Now, this, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just showing you how to use the sliders. This is what I call a fake duotone, and if you really, really, really want to get into doing, serious duotones that are going to be printed in calendars, books, and all that kind of stuff, then I strongly suggest you do your duotones in Photoshop and do them properly. But if they're not, and if you end up doing one or two and testing them and they get printed in a nice blurb book or whatever you're using, then by all means continue using these guys. When you come up with a look and feel that you're interested in keeping, by all means, you can come over here, you can save the setting, create a preset, do whatever it is that you want to do, and you can move on. In a nutshell, that is the split toning tab.